Okay, my name's Sean. I'm the lead developer for Clicky, which is a real-time web analytics service in Portland.
And my name's Noah. I'm a co-founder, as is Sean, of Clicky Web Analytics.
So we track websites. A user will come to our site and register, and they can get up and running in minutes. They just create a username and password, enter in their site, and then they get a little piece of code to put on their website. And by putting that piece of code on their site, it sends data back to us, and then we generate reports based on that.
So if you're a website owner or a blogger, basically use our service to track how your visitors are interacting with your website and where they're coming from. And there's all sorts of different information, data behind the scenes that you might not know that it is there, and we capture that data and present it in reports and give you the ability to manipulate the data so you can make sense out of it and act on it.
Yeah. Well, we're both from Oregon, so I'm from Eugene, he's from Corvallis, and I moved here after college, and then I worked for Noah for a while at a different company, and that's where Clicky came from. So then we moved up here eventually to start Clicky as its own thing. So that's why we're in Portland, and we like Portland. But we also love San Francisco. We're thinking about moving there, maybe. Every time we're there, we have a lot of fun. So it's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, Portland is a great city. It's it's really clean. There's a lot interesting going on, like indie stuff. It's just very interesting. So the people are really cool too. But I mean, as far as like the startup scene goes, there just isn't as much opportunity up in Portland as there is like down in San Francisco. And I guess that's kind of some of our thoughts on why we would want to move down there, partly.
Yeah, every time we go down there, it's a very social scene. Not that people aren't social up here, but we've been to some conferences down there, and it's just a whole lot of fun meeting all these people that are in our industry. Not in web analytics, but just in the startup industry. Whole lot of fun. So I would like to kind of be introduced to more of that in Portland. I'm sure there's some things going on up here that I don't know about. Mainly just the learning how to do everything that we do now. Within the first year, I had to learn this stuff really fast, and I don't have a computer science degree or anything like that. I've always been in computers though, and so I just had to teach myself how to scale this stuff really quickly, and then it's been more gradual since then. That's really been the only major challenge we've had. Well, it's just me and Noah for 4 years, and when we first started, I had never worked on a project of this scale. Even the day that we launched, we crashed because we had almost 1,000 sites register overnight, and we just weren't prepared for that at all. And I didn't really know what I was doing yet because I'd only been working on it for about 2 months. So the hurdles I've had to overcome were learning all about Linux system administration and all the different pieces of software that work behind the scenes to optimize such a large-scale operation. And at that point we had 1,000 sites, and now we have almost 300,000. So, and we're tracking 250 million page views a day across all our sites. So that's a lot of traffic to deal with. But that's been a big challenge for me, is learning all the tech to deal with that. And then, starting up, I'm a developer, Noah's a business guy, and we had someone build us a server initially. After the initial crash, someone built us a server. And so we didn't really have many business hurdles because Noah had a little bit of money in the bank that we financed ourselves with for about 4 months until we started charging money.
And since then, I mean, it's been 4 years now since we actually launched Clicky, and I wouldn't say there's any like major hurdles that we've come across, but it's definitely been a learning process along the way. We are kind of at a stage right now where like the last 4 years have been developing the analytics platform and making it a complete product. So we're now one of the market leaders. And in the last 6 months or so, we've been kind of taking on a new direction where we've been integrating with other web services, other companies, and that's kind of put us in front of new markets, new potentials there. So that's pretty exciting. Google. You know, you get stuck, you Google something. As far as resources like in the community go, if that's what you're asking, there's not as much like web tech scene up here as there is in San Francisco, but there are still companies in the area innovating, and it's always nice to come across one of those. And it's usually randomly, like whether you're off doing something totally unrelated, you kind of like bring up a conversation and you meet somebody. So that's pretty cool. But a lot of it's just kind of trial and error and learning as you go. I don't know, do you know of any specific resources?
I use the internet. Everything I know how to do with what I do has been from the internet, because I don't have any education in this area at all. And I have a couple friends, particularly one who lives in DC that used to live over here, that he is a genius. So he's helped me with quite a few things. So that's how I've learned most of what I know now, how to do in terms of other things I'm not sure.
Our biggest challenge right now, I would say, would be we've been running Clicky, just the two of us pretty much, for the last 4 years, and we're at a point, we reached that point a long time ago, to where it's just too big of an animal for us to like tame. So we need to increase our staff and hire talented people, developers, system admin, some graphic design. There's a lot of different roles that we need filled, and so we're actively looking for some help in that regard.
Yeah, starting early next year, we're going to start looking for people to hire, because I do all the tech stuff. So we have 50 servers running in a data center, and we build them ourselves. Noah builds them, and then I set up Linux and all the software on them. But with that many servers, there's bound to be problems pretty frequently. And then I also have to do more complicated technical support emails, and I do all the programming and database design. So the only part I really like is the programming. So it's frustrating how little time I actually get to do that these days, because we're growing pretty quickly. So that's the other challenge right now, is scale. We're kind of just scaling at this point. The size we are is starting to get difficult again. Like kind of in the beginning, how it was difficult to scale, and then been pretty smooth for a couple of years, and now it's getting harder again, just as we get so many customers. It takes, emails take a lot of our time, and it's just the two of us. So it'd be nice to have. I would like to never have to think about servers again. Just have someone do that for me. And I would like to not have to do emails either, so I can just program. So that's kind of my stress levels these days are pretty high. Well, I love what I do. I love writing software that I know other people like and that they use. We have a lot of businesses. We have a freemium model, so people can use for free for one site, or they can pay to track more sites and get some more features. And I love having we have well over 10,000 paying customers, and that's pretty neat just to think that many people like our software enough to pay us money to use it. And so that's what makes me happy, is just knowing that I'm creating something that so many people use on a daily basis and that they enjoy, and it helps them either understand their traffic or run their business by analyzing their traffic.
I guess just like other entrepreneurs, I read, TechCrunch, a lot of tech blogs, a lot of different ones, and you always hear about new companies, new people on the scene that are doing something cool. and getting a lot of, feedback from it from people all over the world. So it's always really cool to read about and see how the evolving landscape is and what people are doing. So I guess I don't have any particular role models, I guess, but I mean, there are a lot of people out there that I'm just amazed about. So.
Yeah, I don't know if I have any particular role models either, but just I read a lot of the sites I read are related to startup news, and so just reading about all the creative things that all these crazy entrepreneurs are doing is a lot of fun, and some of it's inspiring to me. Just thinking about all these ideas they come up with, and some of them I'm like, that's really neat. So that just keeps me going too. Just thinking about all the creativity in the startup scene. We have been approached by tons of VCs. Recently, it seems like it's started accelerating again. I'm not sure why, but I would guess at this point probably 50 different VCs have approached us. And originally we were interested in it, and then we decided we weren't. But we still, when they come to us, we still talk to them because a lot of them do want a piece. But we're completely bootstrapped. Started very cheaply. Because since I was the programmer, we didn't have to hire someone. I worked for free for 4 months until we started charging. So we've been approached by a lot of them, but nothing's ever come out of it. We haven't really, tried to make something come out of it either.
I mean, back in the day when we were talking to VCs, maybe after a year we launched, we weren't making as much money as we are now, of course. And so it was more appealing back then, just because we didn't know where we'd be, 3 years from then. So the fact that we're making enough money now that we can do whatever we want pretty much as far as hiring people, marketing costs, whatever we would do with the VC money. We don't really need it now, so it's kind of out of the question.
We're happy.
Very happy.
Yeah.
Don't have to answer to anybody. When you get VC funding, it gets way more complicated, and you're not really truly working for yourself anymore. You're responsible for other people's money.
Yeah, I've heard lots of VC or startup stories for people that have taken VC and not taken VC, and people have been with companies that have done both. And pretty much everyone, if you can afford to do what you're doing without taking investment, if you don't need 20 engineers immediately to build this huge thing, then bootstrapping is very good because you don't have to answer to anyone. You don't have to worry about VC is essentially a shareholder in a public company, so you don't have to answer to your shareholders. You don't have to worry about what makes the most money versus what's best for my customers. So I really like